Yet in the end, almost 2 years of hard work will result in a big, fat nothing. So you worked 2 long years on your dream indie game, you've pushed through the doubt, and you've gone through initial concept to a published Steam page. It's weeks from your release date, and you've only gained 2 wish lists. But all is not lost. Your game can be revived. Let's face facts. Indie game dev is practically a blood sport. The competition is extremely fierce. Imagine feeling like you wasted years of your life for absolutely nothing. It can be soul-crushing. This reality came to mind after I came across a post on the GameDev subreddit. Only 2 wish lists after 10 days. Is my product that bad? After hundreds of comments and upvotes, I reached out to the OP about creating a video about their experience. They agreed and were even okay with a review of their marketing, which we'll get to later in the video. So let's take a look at the post. Only 2 wish lists after 10 days. Is my product that bad? A postmortem. I know my game is in a terrible genre, especially for a solo dev. Yet another pixel platformer. Oh wow, how interesting, right? I know I started way too late making online content for marketing, and I know it's not that good of a product with meh visuals. So first off, I understand the comment about genre. There are a lot of platformers out there. There's a lot of competition, but that doesn't mean a 2D platformer cannot be successful. You have to find that niche within a niche. Why is that platformer different from other platformers? And then right away, you can already tell that they realize that they've made a mistake regarding the marketing. Marketing is tough. There's a lot of things that you have to think about. There's a lot of things you have to do, and you're doing that on top of all of the things that you're already doing within the solo dev experience. You're talking graphics, sound, coding, gameplay, everything. And that marketing aspect can often get kind of pushed off to the side. But that marketing is really something that you should be doing immediately, right when you start thinking about how am I going to market this, who am I marketing it to, and how is it going to shape the design of my game. So number one, it's good that they realized that they didn't do this right away. But number two, you got to do that immediately and keep doing it throughout the entire process. And in terms of the visuals, visuals aren't everything. There are games that don't look great visually, but the gameplay is excellent. So that's a give and take. Still, it is so brutal and motivation breaking that I couldn't help myself and wanted to share the pain with you, GameDev subreddit. The issues I wrote about in the first paragraph might be huge mistakes, but I have tried my best to pour passion into this indie project whilst coding, drawing, mixing sound effects, etc. You know it, making a game requires endless list of individual skills. I think the 2 things that really pop out there are the pain and the passion. Those are 2 very heavy and strong emotional words. Working on something for that long a time and not getting exactly what you want out of it and feeling that really extreme pain with that is extremely difficult. But the flip side of that is the passion that you're putting into it. So if you're working on a solo dev experience or you're working on game dev in general, that passion side of it is extremely important. But because you put so much passion into it, you're a little bit more vulnerable if something doesn't quite end up right. And there's also this recognition that game development, this solo dev experience, is really, really hard. And there are all these things that you have to think about and put together at the same time. And it's really this ultimate artwork. In fact, in my learning game development video, I talked about a German word called Gesamtkunstwerk, which means sort of complete art. And it was typically in reference to, sort of opera, where they had music, theater, art, all these things coming together, really complex, complicated structures, and creating this ultimate huge artwork. Games are very similar to that. There are all these different aspects that are coming together. And in addition to that, you have the interactive part, which is something that art doesn't always have. So that's a different aspect to video games. I watched and read all the recommendations about Steam pages. I have spent a ton of time making a trailer with DaVinci Resolve. Great editor, by the way. Make sure my screenshots are interesting and from different parts of the game. Concise explanations with GIFs, not GIFs. Meaningful tags, clear but eye-catching banners, etc. I tried it all. That final phrase there, I tried it all. Sometimes it's good to just kind of step away. You can get to a point where you're sort of banging your head over and over and over against the wall, and you're not actually figuring out the problems that you're having, and you're not seeing clearly what you need to fix. And so stepping away sometimes and seeing your work from a different perspective can really give you a motivational boost to help you figure out that problem. It's also important to remember that you can never fully master anything. You're always learning. You're always going to have things that become difficult that you sort of have to overcome. And you may not be able to see exactly where you need to improve all the time, especially if you're burnt out or you're frustrated. So being able to step back a little bit and viewing it from a different perspective can be extremely helpful. Yet in the end, almost 2 years of hard work, learning a new thing every single day, literally no 0 days, all All that pain, struggle, bug hunting, pixel art drawing, hand-drawn animations, playtesting, fixing sound effects issues will result in a big, fat nothing. And that's really difficult. You can see all the different aspects that they've worked through. They spent a lot of time, and it's very clear in what they're talking about. And if you've done a solo dev experience before, you know how many different aspects of the game that you have to focus on. It can really come down to organizing yourself and being able to figure out, I'm going to work on this at this point and work on this at the other point. And it's extremely easy to get overwhelmed and frustrated. This person, as they've said, has poured their passion into this project for 2 years. So you're talking all of this passion, time, and energy, and they're coming away with it with pretty much what they feel is nothing. 2 wish lists after 2 years is a pretty small amount, and that's tough. So looking at that, my question would be, what are you expecting in return for this process? If your expectation is monetary, you're looking for money, that climb is going to be a really, really steep mountain, and honestly, eventually it's going to end up being a cliff. It's really difficult to earn anything from a solo dev project. And you can see here, they're saying, I'm not even sure if I'll get back my $100 Steam deposit. So yeah, spending 2 years, that's time lost, that's money lost, because you could have spent that time making money in other ways. So if your expectation is money, you're more than likely going to be disappointed. Now, if your expectation is to have someone play your game and enjoy it and maybe have some feedback for you, that's a little bit more of a realistic goal. And even now, they have 2 wish lists. They might even have more at this point. Someone is going to be playing and experiencing this game, and that's important. That's an achievement within itself. So if you're working through your own project and you're thinking, I need to make so and so much money for this to feel like a success to me, I would step back and rethink that and think about exactly what your expectation is and have some perspective about what is actually realistic when it comes to commercial gain through an indie project like this. And then the other thing to remember is that there's always a different perspective. There's always something to be gained. So in this instance, they've spent 2 years on this project. They've learned all these different skills, and these skills can potentially be used later on with different projects, different aspects of their life. All of those things are very important. So if you're looking for external validation when you're doing a project like this, be careful. It's important to have some sort of intrinsic value to what you're working on. You need to get something out of it yourself without having some external thing giving you that validation. And making a game is a huge achievement in itself. So that's number one. Even if you make no money, you get zilch, nada. Even if you only get 10, 5, 2 wish lists. If someone plays your game, that's an achievement. The fact that you even release something is an achievement. And I know that gets thrown around a lot, especially on Reddit when people are giving these postmortems, but it's true. Number 2, there's always a lesson to be learned and ways to improve. So whether or not this developer decides to continue this project or move on to another project, there are aspects of this process that they can take and then improve upon. And frankly, even if they want to continue this project, there are ways to improve upon it. So let's take a look at the Steam page, let's take a look at the game and see what ways that they can maybe improve upon it. And if you want to check out the Steam page yourself, there's a link in the description, and feel free to leave any of your own constructive feedback or advice down below in the comments. And if you're working on your own game and would like me to review it or feature it, you can put that in the comments too, or message me in the Discord. Okay, so this is Llama the Farm Drama. First, the title doesn't fly off the tongue there. There's always sort of a rhythm to titles sometimes, and Llama the Farm Drama, it has some flow to it, but it's not great. Maybe a name for the llama, like Obama Llama, the Farm Drama, maybe not Obama. Or even just llama drama, like that has a little bit of a quicker feel to it. It's not a huge deal, but something to think about. Let's take a look at our logo here. It's pixelated. I get it's a pixel platformer, but it's a little unclear what that is. I don't know if there's a need for that to be that pixelated. In fact, if you look over here, that's much sharper. So that's a little kind of off-putting, I would say. The logo looks like it's a low res, like it should be a higher res. So maybe figuring out a way to increase that resolution, trying some different fonts, getting a different look for that. All right, the description says, play as a llama. Spit on farm animals, farmers, and cows. Not sure what end cows are. Speedrun, cozy farms, and unique dungeons in this short, fun, and lighthearted platformer. So what jumps out at me first is the llama thing. I think that's an interesting part of it. That's an interesting aspect of this game. Like, there are not a lot of llamas. It kind of brings up the goat simulator a little bit. So I lean on that. I think the llama is something that's going to jump out to people, which is really good. The spitting, that's kind of unique. I'm going to assume that that's something that llamas do. And you got your farm animals, your farmers, your end cows. I don't know what end cows are. Maybe a boss or something like that. Speed run. And in fact, there's a lot of this speed run that we'll see as we go through this page a little bit. I don't know if I've seen games that use that as sort of the main feature that people can do speed runs with it. But it's interesting. You are a llama, a fast one, speed run. There's a speed run again. Unique environments, defeat challenging creatures, and annoy as many farmers as possible. So we're getting a little bit closer. In fact, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. A little closer look at these graphics, and it looks like it's a clown face, that's an interesting choice. It doesn't quite have the llama nose. I think llamas sort of have a snout. So that's a good point. So your main character is this llama. It's got to be your bread and butter. It's got to be the thing that is the best graphically in your game, because it's going to be what people are looking at the entire time that they're playing. So you don't want them to be confused or even have it get lost in the background. You don't want that. So figuring out a way to bring out the main character, bring out your llama, that's a good goal. Otherwise, I'm not hating the background graphics too much. You know, they're pixelated. They look like they're hand drawn, which is not bad. Spit, stomp, smash, spit on everything that moves, stomp on farmers' heads, or wreak havoc with vomit. What is that? Vomit-o-matic power-up. Okay, I guess this is this thing right here, which actually, it looks kind of cool, like a little llama Hadouken thing. Okay. So that's interesting. I think it's a good GIF. I think that's a good use right there. Now I'm just noticing that I'm like blocking out this image. Let me zoom back out there. So there's a lot of action in that GIF. You're trying to bring people into that. Say, hey, there's a lot of stuff going on. I like that. Easy to begin and fun to master. Seamless onboarding thanks to intuitive controls and advisor pigs. Discover fun movement tricks plus famous speedrun memes. So there's a speedrun thing again. I'm not super knowledgeable about speedrun stuff, so maybe there's some meme stuff in there that's going to be happening. The seamless onboarding, intuitive controls. I don't know that that's really anything that you really need to bring up. You're not going to have your tutorial be a main feature on your Steam page. So I don't think there's really a need to focus on the onboarding or the intuitive controls. The advisor pigs, that's interesting. Maybe talk about what they're doing. Why are they pigs? Why are they advising you? The movement tricks. So that would be something else that you could show. You could say, hey, this is some movement tricks, and have a video of that. I think there are some things in the video about that the llama's like flying really fast. So maybe that's part of it. But you're talking about fun movement. So you got to show that. Cozy atmosphere. Hop on top of the clouds or explore deep dungeons and collect shiny gold coins. But always be cautious. This world is full of hazards such as great voids, fire, lava, electric, angry farmers, and 2 top secret end cows. So what's the point of the gold coins? Are they just, you collect them? You get anything for them? You know, these are things that are going to bring people in. What are these features? Why are we doing this thing? Why am I interested in gold coins? Why am I interested in this llama? And that's something that I'm not seeing on this page, which is okay. Maybe it's not an important aspect of this game, but is there a story? Why do I care about this llama? Why are we fighting all these farmers? Why are we doing all this stuff? When you're doing a page like this, you're competing with every other game on Steam. And these are games that are, AAA or have hundreds of people that are working on them, people that are specifically being paid to set up their marketing campaigns. And you need a way to pull in people to your small indie game dev. And you're going to do that by being different. You're going to do that by really leaning into the things that set you apart. From what I'm seeing in this case is you got a llama that's different. Lean into that. Give the llama a name. Give the llama a story. Make somebody care about why am I playing as a llama. And it can be silly. It can be weird. It can be all of those things. In fact, those things will help set you apart from a lot of other games out there, but you really got to drive that point. You've got maybe 2-3 seconds at most for someone to look at this page and say, hey, I'm kind of interested in this, or hey, I'm never going to look at this again. So let's go look at the screenshots and the trailers real quick. Okay, the blurring is weird. I don't know if I'd do that. It kind of adds confusion to what's going on. You want people to see everything that's happening. I kind of like the electric animations. And see, those llamas look better. They got a nose right there. Let's zoom in on that. Like, that's got a nose. I know that's a llama. The clown, I'm not sure that I recognize that as a llama. And even graphically, I can tell that there are some assets that are being used here, which is totally fine. It kind of blends together. It's not super integrated into itself. And even that's okay. It's mainly what the gameplay is, and is it fun? You can have even a hodgepodge of graphics and have it still be fun. There's our Vomit Hadouken, our Mario clouds. The dungeon looks kind of nice. Okay, there's our end cow, our boss. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the trailer, and it's not directing the user in any way. It's not focusing on, hey, look at this. Hey, look at this. There's just sort of all this motion happening all the time. And I don't think it needs to be this long. You're really focusing on specific features within this game. It doesn't seem like it's a very long game. So you want to focus on, if you're focusing on the speed, focus on the speed. You're focusing on the tricks. Look at that. And make sure that whenever you show those things, it's extremely clear, and it's the best example of that you can show. The vignette is kind of odd. I'm not sure why that's there. You can't really see the UI elements, so it would definitely get rid of that. The text is a hard thing sometimes. You need to make sure it's very, very easy to read, but it's definitely a little pixelated. Now, graphically, this doesn't look bad at all. In fact, I kind of like the feel of this. The llama doesn't quite mix in with the dungeon style, and that's okay. I'm seeing there's like a power up with a llama head over there, so you're collecting things. But see, I don't know that I saw that in the trailer, so having that be a part of that so people know, hey, this is a part of the game. All right, so main thoughts. One, having a really clear idea of what the main selling point of your game is and hitting it over and over and over again. It might be that they think that the speedrun part of it is the main focus, which is okay, but then detail that a little bit. Even within the about this game description, there's not a whole lot of detail about what exactly is going on. Why do we have the llama? Why are they on a farm? Why is there drama? And that can be a mystery too, but give whoever is looking at this page sort of a hook to bring them in and say, hey, this is kind of interesting. This is different. I want to try this. And frankly, it can be really hard unless you've really detailed this out to find that on your own. And in fact, when people play your game, they may look at something totally different from you and say, hey, this is the main point of the game. So play test, and then play test again. You really want to get an idea of how people are interacting with your game and how they're responding to what you're giving them, because it could be completely, totally, utterly different than what you expect it to be. And it's always important to remember that you're not selling the game to yourself. You're making the game. You are selling it to other people. You need to know what other people think and how other people are going to react, because you know how you react. You made it. So I think there's some potential here. The llama idea really kind of jumps out. It's different. It's interesting. There's some refinement that can be done, and graphically there's always improvement that can be done as well. But my thoughts are clean up the quality as much as you can with the screenshots, trailer, the logo. Do those as best as you can because you have control over those. And then within the description of the game, really detailing out and focusing on what is the most important part of this game. Why does this game exist? Do some of those things and mark it a little bit, which is a whole different video, and those wish lists are going to go up. Okay, so go check out Llama the Farm Drama on Steam. If you're interested in it, wish list it. And if you're struggling with completing or even starting a game, be sure to check out my video right here detailing 5 reasons why I actually think now is the best time to begin learning game development. Thanks for watching, and go create something awesome.